Today I wanted to reflect a bit on love, particularly the little phrase, I love you. And so in my family at least, this phrase flowed quite easily amongst each other. It was a sign of affirmation, care, affection, but it also, you say goodbye to someone, oh, bye, see you, love you. It also can come to be that very easy flowing, not necessarily this big grave statement either. And also in romantic relationships, in my experience, it could flow quite easily as well. Often the first time that you were saying it to someone, there was a bit of trepidation about how it would be received. But then after that, again, just an affirmation of care and almost another way of saying goodbye. So, oh, see ya, love ya, bye. And so then we come to Buddhism, where we learn the definition of what love is in terms of wishing all sentient beings to have happiness and its causes. And it's a huge paradigm shift. Because what does that even mean? What happiness does that mean? There's different types of happiness. Is it the happiness of just this life? Well, we start there. We wish people to be comfortable, to be at ease, to have the resources, to live without fear, anxiety, worry, all those type of things. But it doesn't stop there. Then we have to start bringing in the idea of future rebirths, of working towards a goal of nirvana and full awakening. We're wishing them that kind of happiness. And then, the vision just gets incredibly huge. And then also within the Mahayana perspective, where we are aiming for full awakening, we are wishing this happiness for every single sentient being. So then we come back down to the phrase of I love you. And in my life, at the moment, I still, at the end of every phone call with my parents and my grandmother, this is how I end it, and then how they end it with I love you. And so I found it to be quite a curious little phrase, and it sparked some contemplation in myself when at the end of this phone call, after we've both said this to each other, I feel a little bit odd. And I've pondered why. It's not because I don't mean it when I'm saying it, but I've had to investigate, what's this interesting feeling going on here? And in part, I think it's because of I'm assuming a bit of a gap in terms of my understanding of what I'm meaning and what my parents or my grandmother is meaning from their side. Because when I am saying that, or my intention about saying that is I wish you happiness, I wish you to be well, I wish you to be at ease, and I really wish you to be free of all the suffering of the afflictions that even in this conversation we've kind of touched on a bit that's making you unhappy. And I don't know whether they understand that's where I'm coming from. Because I'm really wishing them happiness, a form of happiness that I don't even know if they think is possible. My parents aren't Buddhist. Neither is my grandmother. I don't know if they believe in multiple rebirths. I don't think so. And I'm pretty sure that they don't believe in nirvana or awakening. So, part of the disjoint I sometimes feel at the end of this phone call is this wish for them to have a happiness that's not within their framework. And so there's a bit of sadness around that. Because I wish to share these tools that I found very helpful for myself. Not to convert them or to make them Buddhists or to control them, but just wishing that they had some tools that I now have to work with situations that we all encounter, the anger, the greed, the jealousy, the frustration, that right now, as they express, there's not much tools there to work with. But I can also see that part of my discomfort with saying this three-letter phrase is because I can see the attachment arise. Because why am I more sad at my inability to share these tools of the Dharma with my parents and my grandmother than I am with a neighbor down the road whose name I don't know? Because they're my parents and they're my grandmother and they care about me and they've been kind to me and they're in my own little sphere of concern based on a lot of hopes, fears, and expectations. So I've reflected that this little term can pull at the heartstrings and arouse that attachment, because what I mean, I wish you happiness, the highest form of happiness. I can also see that that phrase in that interaction brings up the entanglement, the emotional enmeshment that I'm still in with these people who I have spent vast amounts of time and energy in this life, and whose well-being I care about very much, but there's stickiness there. So that's kind of one part of the story. And then the other half is how, through living here for the past few years and learning more, internalizing more the Buddhist worldview, is to reevaluate what it means to love and what it means to be loved. And I think this is particularly alive for me living in a monastic community where 24 hours a day we're in community with each other, and we are caring for each other and learning together what it means to love and be loved outside the framework of sticky attachment, or at least trying to. And my experience here is that what it means to be loved by Buddhist practitioners or in a monastic community and by your spiritual teacher is vastly different to what my framework was before coming here about what it means to be loved, where I was hooked into the attachment model. And the phrase, when I was reflecting on this, came up about love is blind. That idea that, and loyalty with your family or with friends, where, no matter what they do, you'll care for them, love them, and do whatever they want. And, I think in the Buddhist framework, we extend the wish for happiness to all beings, no matter what they do, because we understand why they might be harmful sometimes or what's going on. But that love is based on wisdom, and it's informed by compassion, and it's free of attachment. So it's not acting out of sometimes we capitulate to what people do because we want them to like us, we want praise, we want approval, we don't want people to get angry at us. True love doesn't have that. And my experience here is that having the love of a teacher, receiving the love of a teacher who refuses to spoon feed the Dharma to you, but is wanting you to grow your own wisdom, to think for yourself because she has a confidence in you that you can, and who nudges you beyond your self-imposed limitations, where we feel like I can't, I won't, but rather gives you tasks or asks you to do things, or doesn't answer the call for help because she can see that you don't necessarily need to, you just need to think for yourself. Receiving that kind of love is real love, but it's often has the initial response of pain because of the expectation of something different. But that is really what is going to spark the growth that I'm really looking for. And then there's also the love of spiritual friends who don't give in to the emotional neediness that we might present. That rather want to give you the spiritual advice that will help you grow, even if they receive an angry response in return. They're willing to endure that because they have your best interests at heart. And they're even working with their own stuff so that, even how much they might want you to be responding to them kindly, they will say what they feel they need to, because they know it's better for everyone. Yeah, and I think also the love of living in a community where people aren't rushing to fix your problems, that they're not taking responsibility, others aren't taking responsibility for my emotional mood swings, for my ups and downs, for my messiness that I might want to be blaming or asking others to fix for me, when it's like, no, that's your stuff, and you have the tools to work with it, and I can help you in some ways to do that, but diving in as a fixer isn't going to be the solution. I think here there's underlying that is that big confidence in our capacity to to transform our minds and really meet our own needs and grow based on the Buddha's teachings. And I think it was a while ago that Venerable Tapa was reading from a book of reflections by the monks at Yosemite, where with a bit of humor, some of the monks were reflecting, like, where is the love in this place? Kind of, as we're, re-socializing ourselves, retraining ourselves to identify what's going on in our minds and meet these needs for love in different ways. And I have come up against that, where my expectations for what I saw as care weren't being met. And I really had to ask, like, is what I'm expecting, wanting, thinking should be done, is that true? Is that right? Is that what will really help me? I think in the first year when I was here, there was a situation where I was so miserable. And I went through everyone in the community and I was like, okay, so who can I say actually likes me here? And I could pick out, I think, aside from, about 16 people, maybe there was 3 people who I could say unwaveringly, yes, they like me because of this, because they'd praised me somehow or something like that. And at the end of that exercise, I'm like, maybe there's something a bit skewed with the way that you're looking at here. If 13 out of 16 people you think have a problem with you and don't like you because of X, Y, Z. So it was a really good exercise to kind of take stock of what lens am I looking through here that is then causing me suffering because I'm believing these wrong thoughts or having expectations that aren't appropriate here and aren't beneficial for myself or others. Yeah. And with that question of, like, where is the love here? It's like to ask myself, like, how is it that I'm looking at things here where I'm seeing the absence of love? Because if I look at the kindness around in terms of how we all take care of each other here, cooking, cleaning, infrastructure, various aspects, sharing the Dharma, and then the kindness that we receive from all our supporters. I mean, the kindness is just immense. And also the support and the love that we receive from everyone doing their individual practice. Sometimes I'm just silent when we do our prayers sometimes, and just to hear others reciting in unison these beautiful affirmations, it's like, can I actually connect that this person is saying these words of beauty and love because they mean it, and that may all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. Like, I'm part of that. I'm part of the field of benefit that these people I'm living with are reaching out to. Can I accept that? Can I let that in? Yeah. So, yeah, where is the love? It is palpable in every moment if I turn my attention towards it. So, yeah. Yeah, may we all continue to experience the benefits of broadening this concept of what love is, so that it may encompass all beings and seek to motivate us to then want to reach out and benefit others and repay the immense kindness that we have all received, so that we can all actualize the true happiness that we all seek.